To the elf prince, it seems that Nanjue is like a hellish prince. Mingling with a bunch of greedy humans is truly baffling. But Nanjue wasn't in the mood for his monologue, so Nanjue flashed a charming smile, pulled out a golden egg from his pocket, and tossed out a seed that sparkled. The princess knew this thing was no joke and quickly shouted for everyone to stop the jumping bean, fearing it might dive into the water, so Session dashed over trying to catch it. Unfortunately, the bean fell into the sewer, and then the ground began to shake violently. Suddenly, out popped a colossal plant from the ground, towering over 30 stories high, and the princess exclaimed that this terrifying plant was like the supreme villain of nature. It's a deity that can nurture or annihilate nature, and Nanjue thought this was getting a bit too intense. To handle it, he quickly swapped to a more powerful Gatling gun, only to find a baby in the car next to him, and he immediately yanked the car door open and scooped the kid up. Out of nowhere, the car with the baby got squished flat by the nature god, turning it into a lump of scrap metal. Taking the chance, Nanjue zoomed off with the baby, but the nature god was hot on his heels. He made a mighty leap and landed atop a hotel billboard, handing off the baby to his own tail. He clutched the metal pole and climbed, thinking, just scare the nature god off, so he fired 2 shots straight at it. Sure enough, the nature god leaned against the building, panting and looking utterly confused. At that moment, Nanjue realized the enemy was also a living being, and he suddenly wasn't sure if he should keep shooting, but the air guy below kept urging him to shoot, or else they'd have a full-blown city destruction party once the monster recovered. And just then, the nature god began to inch closer. After getting shot, the nature god, colloquially known as Headache Demon, wobbled and then toppled over, blossoming into a flower. Newly pregnant Lissy was having profound realizations, returning to headquarters. She and Nanjue, a lovable pair, began a deep discussion. Lissy wanted to move out for personal space. This revelation breached Nanjue's defenses, and he stared at Lissy's departing figure, wondering why is marriage so complicated. Just when he was struggling with marriage issues, Session was by the princess' side, unexpectedly developing a crush on the sweet princess. Because she met someone who actually understood her thoughts, Session felt like a lost-struck teenager, utterly clueless. So that night, the 2 awkward guys at the bar drank beer and belted out love songs, drowning their sorrows, while the princess felt a sudden flutter in her heart. Because she sensed her brother was on the prowl, the princess sprinted to the library. She found the map on the table, tossed it into the fire, and hid the crown fragment in a book. Just as she turned around, her brother Nanjue was already there, unfazed by the burning map, and even grabbed the hot piece of paper. To him, whether the map burned or not was irrelevant. He already knew the real map was imprinted on the bucket. He spotted the true location of the Golden Army from the mark on the table. All he needed was that crown fragment. He knew the fragment was in the room, but after flipping through several books and finding nothing, the princess hit the alarm, realizing he would figure it out eventually. Agents swarmed into the library as Nanjue took his sister hostage with a knife, warning Session. Nanjue entered dramatically. Originally intended to show off, but after too many beers, he nearly stumbled. Nanjue wasn't holding back either, engaging in a fierce duel with Nanjue. However, to his surprise, Nanjue was quite the fighter, pushing Nanjue back repeatedly. Just then, Lissy arrived at the library, and Nanjue's spear abruptly pierced Nanjue's chest. As Nanjue collapsed, he saw Nanjue holding the princess hostage before losing consciousness. Nanjue told Session, to save the princess, bring the fragment. Nanjue's spear holds special magic. Just a touch would bring it closer to the heart, but if they didn't remove the spear, the wound wouldn't heal. Time was running out for Nanjue, unless he decided to take him to find Nanjue, but the fragment was still missing as Session arrived at the library. He glanced at the books and recalled the princess in the library. He quickly found the book, and sure enough, the fragment was inside. However, Session secretly stashed the fragment away, not telling anyone, and the next day the team geared up, boarding the plane to the tomb. The Golden Army sealing spot was a hillside in Northern Ireland. Just as the team searched the ruins, a dirt-covered dwarf wheeled by with a cart. Knowing they were looking for the Golden Army, the dwarf cheerfully offered to guide them, but needed something shiny as payment. Lissy brought out several items, but the dwarf shook his head at each. That's when he spotted the spearhead embedded in Nanjue's chest, and became very interested. But this spearhead couldn't be removed, for if it was, the Baron would be waving goodbye. So the dwarf took them to find someone who could remove it, whistling twice. Out from the rubble rose a giant stone man, and a door gradually appeared in his belly. The goblins said not to panic. This was the guardian of the underworld, symbolizing absolute power and dignity, who had been slumbering here for 2 months. The goblin brought them here as he could help remove the spearhead, but in return, the spearhead would belong to him. Baron, with gritting teeth, said, "Your plan's solid, but why trust you?" The goblin sneered, patting his chest. Believe it or not, but no one else can make the stone man let you into the underworld, and it's not me who can remove the spearhead, but a messenger from him. After hearing this, the Baron couldn't bear the chest pain. His legs gave way, crashing to the ground. In the next instant, the air around them suddenly turned cold, a strong scent of sulphur wafted in, and a hazy figure appeared in the vast hole. Immediately recognizing the Baron, its voice was deep and chilling, akin to a call emanating from an abyss, sending shivers down one's spine. It turned out to be a child from hell. Saving you speed humanity's doom. The messenger's deep, chilling eyes scan everyone, destined to symbolize destruction. Whether today or soon, disaster shall come. He turned to the Fire Lady with a half smile, saying, "The decision's yours, love or humanity's future." The Fire Lady resolutely said, "Save him now." If you enjoyed this story, please remember to subscribe to our channel.